Okay. Good afternoon from this end, and I believe it's evening in Nigeria because most of the participants I saw from the registration are from Nigeria. It's an awesome pleasure hosting you here today. I'll quickly share my screen to tell you a little about myself and why I'm hosting this webinar. Okay, so um, as you can read from there, my name is Jude Ayua. I'm a lawyer, a writer, poet, and artist. I'm also an entrepreneur and a leader who is passionate about helping people fulfill their purpose and live fulfilling lives. My book, Finding Purpose, is on Amazon and Okada Books. I write every day to inspire people. And why I do that is that you have to find yourself to actually fulfill your purpose in life. If you have not found yourself, you do not know your potentials, it's difficult to achieve anything meaningful in life because your purpose has to align with your abilities, your potential, and everything. So I host this webinar to kind of prepare people to set goals, not only goals for the year, because my philosophy is that if you are focusing on 31st of December to set goals that you achieve the next year, and most people do not even set goals, so to say, they make resolutions of which most of the time fail. So you have to set goals that will take you beyond just a year. And that is why I host this webinar. So once again, everyone, you are welcome. We'll not be spending so much time here. And if you are able to show your face, we'll appreciate. If not, no problem. And I'll quickly be introducing our guest who will tell us about himself. Pause the sharing for now. So our guest, the Scribe, if you can quickly tell us more about yourself. Thank you. The Scribe, are you there? Okay, I hope our guest is still connected. Okay, the Scribe, please, if you are connected, kindly introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself before we go into the presentation. Thank you. Cool. Okay, so I guess he's not connected, so I'll proceed. And later when it's time for his session, he can still introduce himself. So I'll be presenting this paper, but you should pay more attention to what I would say verbally, because sincerely, this was prepared 2 years ago and a lot of things have changed. So understanding goals, we'll start with what is a goal. And I outlined several definitions of goals here. I'll be building on this. And know that in this presentation, I'll be making more reference to my personal experiences as it connects to the understanding of goals. So it will be very practical, and it's not only something we learn it theoretically, and then when you are thinking of how do I apply it, you may seem to be blank. No, I'm going to be very practical in my examples. So the first definition of goal that I listed here is the objects of a person's ambition or efforts, an aim or desired results. Now, if you pay attention to the underlined words, I underline objects, ambition or efforts, and desired results. Okay, and the second definition I put there is the results or achievement toward which effort is directed. You can see the repetition of results and efforts even in the second definition. And also, a goal is an idea of the future, an idea of the future that is also underlined, or desired result that a person or group of people envision, plan, and commit to achieve. Okay, people endeavor to reach goals within a finite time by setting deadlines. Now, by saying finite time, it means that goals do not, like, you cannot set a goal that would be without a time limitation to achieve. You can't say, I want to achieve this, and then you do not set a limit to when you want to achieve it, right? Now, so I'm going to explain some of the key terms here further. So again, to emphasize what goals are specific, attainable, realistic targets that you set for yourself. They are specific in the sense that you know exactly what you want to do. It is not vague. It is not general. You have to be very particular about it. Attainable. So goals are not what you set not to achieve, but what you set to achieve. So they are attainable, okay? They are achievable, in other words. And then realistic. Goals are real. They are not just mere imaginations. They are what you see yourself doing, okay? And then they are deliberate decisions that you make. They are not chances. You do not sit down and wish that, okay, let this happen, and then it happens. No. So the keywords from the definitions above are purpose, idea, desired results, aim, and objects. Now, when you're setting a goal, you should have a purpose in mind for setting that goal. Why am I setting this goal? I will explain that in more detail as we proceed. Then, idea. Goals may also be ideas, but they still have the characteristics of a goal. It's an idea of something you imagine, you envision, but this idea should be something that will materialize, something that should become real, okay? Then desired results. Now, it is something you want. Desire, that's a very strong word. You want this. You want this, like you want it. So you must work to get it, okay? Then an aim, an object. These two words can be used interchangeably. So when you talk about an object, every object has a subject. Now you are the subject of your own object, which means without you, there is no goal of yours, okay? You are there before your goal. So you are the one channeling the effort into the goal. right? So what goals are not? So I've talked about what goals are. Now we'll talk about what goals are not. A goal is not a wish, okay? So a wish is a desire or hope for something to happen. But a wish ordinarily does not have any effort, which makes it here not to qualify as a goal, right? Wishes, you wish, but you do not take action. However, goals have efforts directed into them, and then you take action. A thought or imagination. Now, a thought or imagination is just an idea or an opinion produced by thinking or occurring suddenly in the mind. Now, thoughts or imaginations can lead to you setting a goal. For instance, imagine yourself becoming a millionaire, but you can't stop at that. You have to proceed to set a goal to achieve this imagination. Prayer points. Now, this may sound funny, but you see, prayer points alone are not goals. Prayer is an earnest request, a supplication, is directed to a superior. However, if you are setting goals, you outline them. Prayer you say by your words, sometimes you may not even write it down. But how this interrelates is prayer can support your goals, but prayer alone is not enough, okay? In the Bible, in the book of James, it says, prayer without works is dead. So you have to plan, you have to set goals even as you pray. Then plans. Plans are detailed proposal for doing or achieving something. So goals come before plans, right? You have to set a goal before you plan. You cannot just stand up, okay, you are planning to do what? I'm planning to achieve this. So you have to first set a goal before you plan how to achieve it. And then dreams. Now, dreams can be understood in different senses, but I will talk about two. Let's say the one that you go to bed and then you wake up and realize that, oh, I had a dream, right? For that, yes, you can dream about something, some of which some of which are not real. They're just a play, a kind of replay of your actions or something that you see may happen in the future. But dreams that you go to bed and have are not goals. Uh, in another sense, dream can also mean um, like it's similar to a wish or ambition or aspiration. This one, it's not the one that you go to bed and have. You don't need to go to sleep to set this kind of, to have this kind of dream, okay? You aspire for it. And this would also lead to setting a goal, okay? So characteristics of a goal. So a good goal, there's this acronym, SMART. Now I'll be explaining this briefly, then I'll go to other detail. So a goal must be specific, as I mentioned before. A goal must be measurable. Measurable here means that you should have an estimation of how you want to achieve this particular thing. And I gave an example here. The first example in all of these characteristics that are listed here, the first example is something general, which is not good. The second example is the one that is more specific and good, right? Here it says, I want to make sales of my book. That is not measurable enough. You need to say, I want to sell 1,000 copies of my book, right? That is a more measurable goal, which will be easier to achieve. You want to make sales of your book. How many? When? Right? Then your goal must be relevant. Relevance here means it has to resonate with your values, your purpose, your calling. For example, if you are not a businessman, obviously you don't have need to set business goals. If you're a student, yes, you can set goals about academics. I'm giving an example here. my goal is to become world most popular artist. That is too verbose. But if we say I aim to become an influential public speaker, makes more sense. Okay. And here the intention also matters. For what purpose are you setting that goal? Then goals must be achievable. Achievable here, they should be realizable, tenable, believable, realistic. And I give an example: to complete the building of my house in 2 years, to become a senior advocate of Nigeria in 7 years after my call to the bar. Now, the first one is, it makes more sense because you are saying in 2 years you complete building your house, you can work towards that and achieve it. But to say you become a senior advocate of Nigeria, this is beyond your own circumstance because this is not a position you attach to yourself. And in Nigeria, you have to be 10 years after your call to the bar to qualify to apply and to become senior advocates of Nigeria. So when you are setting goals, you have to look at whether you can achieve them, okay? Then goals must be time bound. You have to set a limit, and this will keep you in check and keep you motivated on where you're going. For example, I'll buy my car in February 2022. We're already in 2023, going to 2023. So this is an example. It is, you have set a time to eat, okay? Another example, in June 2021, I will make up to 1 million naira from the sales of my book, Grades. Yeah. You have also set a time limit to that, and it makes sense. Okay. Then I'll quickly be talking about types of goals, short-term and long-term goals. So you can have short-term goals and also long-term goals. Something you want to achieve within a short time and something you want to achieve within a long term. For example, if I say in the next 3 months, I want to lose 30 kg of my weight, that's a short-term goal. And if I say for the next 10 years, I plan to obtain a PhD and also attain the status of a full professor. Great. That's a long-term goal which should take time to plan and achieve. Then setting your goals. We have generally talked about what goals are and what goals are not and the characteristics. So now I'm talking about setting your goals. Why should you set your goals? That's what to start with. Why should you set your goals? Goals, if you set goals, it makes you proactive so that you don't just wake up a day and you want to do this. No, you have to first plan and work towards achieving a particular thing. You cannot just wake up today. Okay, I'll give an example of politicians who contest for elections. They do not just wake up one day and say, today I want to become the president of Nigeria, right? They had it in mind probably for years. And then when the time came for it, they have been preparing. Now they were more proactive towards it. Then if you set a goal, it is a motivation for success. Like we discussed before, having an aim, an object, or a purpose, or a vision. If you are looking at that, it motivates you to work hard to succeed in it. But if you don't have a set goal, you lack motivation. Then focus. Goals will also keep you focused. You will not end up doing things because people want to do it. I will share a personal, an example from my personal experience here. Now, for some persons, sometimes when I share my achievements, that's when some persons, yes, it's good to be motivated by reading about somebody else's achievement, but that is when some persons now think of, okay, I should achieve a similar thing. And okay, they come asking questions. And most times these questions end after the first week, which means they didn't have this in mind. It's because they have seen someone do it and they want to do it. at the end, if it was not a preconceived goal and you are doing it because someone else did it, you are not being focused enough. Okay, so this is an example. Then it will help you measure your effectiveness. So if you do not set a goal, you will not be able to measure your own growth in anything. I will discuss later the areas where to set your goals, and I will explain more on measuring your effectiveness and growth. Then goals will also help you control your activities. Now, these are the things you should bear in mind when setting a goal. You should consider, like, upon what or on what basis are you setting a particular goal? On what basis? Is it based on your calling or purpose? Is it based on your vision or mission? What is your intention? You should also consider your values. You cannot set to achieve something that does not resonate with your values. Okay. Now, the five important questions to consider when setting your goals. These important questions are: first, why? So the why answers the alignment of your goals to your vision, and then it gives you the motivation. Why do I want to do this? This is the reason I want to do this. Why do you want to become a millionaire? This is the reason I want to become a millionaire. Okay, I want to be a millionaire so that I can build infrastructure, I can build institutions that will support people in academics, support people to live comfortable lives, and so on. When? So they should align with your time target. When do you want to become a millionaire? In the next 2 years. Good. Then what? What are your means or the resources or the capacity you have to become a millionaire? Okay. This is an example. This is my capacity to become a millionaire. An experienced entrepreneur. I can be able to mentor people in business and also invest myself in certain businesses and earn money, which will become a source of income for me. And with the time I've set, I can become a millionaire, right? Does that make sense? So you should answer the question of what as well. Then where? Here it may mean a physical place or a field, an area of interest, profession, career, and so on. Where do you want to become a millionaire? I want to become a millionaire in business. I'll be doing business, and that will make me become a millionaire. Or as a teacher, of course, teachers can also become millionaires, and we have many of them. So the last question is how, and this is where it is also very important. How do you want to reach your goal of becoming a millionaire, right? So this brings in the plan, the action points to becoming what you aspire for, okay? Now, things to avoid when setting a goal. Number one, don't tie your goals to uncertainties or events or happenings. There are certain goals that, okay, depend on circumstances for them to take place, but there are some goals that should not. I'll give an example. If you are saying, if it rains tomorrow, then I will do this particular thing. It will make sense if it rains tomorrow, it will support what you are doing. But if it will not support what you are doing, then it doesn't make any sense saying that, okay, if it rains tomorrow, then I will do this particular thing. Another thing is depending on other people's resources that are not within your reach to execute your goals. Now, if you are saying, my uncle will give me 1 billion naira to set up a business, how are you sure that this your uncle will give you the money? Did he promise you any money? And even if he promised you any money, should you put all your hope on that? Right? So you should not set your goal depending on other people's resources to achieve them. Then you should not base your goals on powers beyond your reach. For example, you as an employer are thinking of getting a promotion 2023. Are you the one that employed yourself? Are you the one that determines when a promotion comes? So these are just examples. Now, this will be more practical. Areas to set your goals. I know for some persons may just be realizing that, oh, okay, so I can also set this particular goal. Okay, I didn't know that, okay, it is good to set a goal here or there. If you were following my campaign for this webinar, I made reference to my spiritual goals, I made reference to my academic goals, and I made reference to my relationship goals, right? So there are more areas where you can set your goals. I'll start with personal development. So you have to set your goals. You have to set personal development goals. How do you want to grow as a person? Now, in 2021, I set the goal that I was going to read at least 25 books before the end of that year. Whoa. The year came and passed, and I realized I had read only 13 books. That was even good. This year, 2022, I said I was going to read at least 30 books. To be frank with you, I've read only 4 books since January. Very poor. Now, I'm using myself to set examples. That does not mean I did not do other things to grow myself, like to improve myself personally. But in that goal, I failed in reading my books. And the books I read border on leadership, politics, relationship, religion, marriage, business, and sometimes arts and history. Okay, so these are the books I enjoy reading. So, but I did not read, this year I read only 1 book on leadership, 1 on relationship, 1 on investments. Okay, I think I read up to 5 books. That was very poor. I focused more on reading academic books and also reading books that about my profession. Those ones, I read books not for personal development. So I read particularly 5 books for personal development, but other books I read were not on personal development. So that was poor. Now, you should also set goals in like concerning your health. What are your health goals? For example, walk 1 kilometer every day, to stop eating junks. It is important to set health goals. My own goal that I set was to do exercise at least 30 minutes a day. Yes, in 2021, I was able to achieve that goal for at least 3 months, but then I stopped. That was me being lazy. Now, because I did not pay so much attention to my health, last year I developed back pain. And that's because I was not attentive to my health. I was paying attention to my career, profession, academics, and all that. But I neglected my health and then I developed back pain. And that has given me so much challenges. It has even affected my productivity and in those other things I'm pursuing. So you should also be mindful to set goals in areas that you know if you fail here, it will affect other areas of your life, right? They say health is wealth. So you cannot be pursuing business and neglect health. It will tell on the other aspect, okay? Then relationship. You should also set relationship goals, such as friendships, family, career, business relationships. There are several relationships. Sometimes we pay attention to only a few. There are many relationships. I give an example here. I'll pay more attention to, okay, This is a typographical error. You should ignore that. Let me go to the second example. I will keep only 2 close friends next year. That's an example. Okay, I will stay closer to my grandparents than, okay, by calling them every weekend. That is to keep in touch with your grandparents. These are relationship goals. Okay, then social goals. You should also set this. Relationship can also come under the social, but I just had to put that differently to emphasize on the points. Social goals, to make new friends in the coming year, to hang out more with people of like passion next year. Okay, so those are examples of goals. Then spiritual. Spiritual goals. I gave an example here to read the entire Bible this year. I already shared that on my social media, how I was able to achieve that goals within the last 2 years. Okay. Then academic goals, financial goals, career goals, business goals, organizational goals. Those are areas you can set your goals. Now, I'm going to give one example of how to set these goals. Now, I always advise you need to write down your goals so that you use them as reminders. Write them down, look at them, review them from time to time. That will motivate you and help you to also measure your success. So you should have in mind the characteristics of a goal and the things to avoid. I already talked about the characteristics of a goal. They must be SMART. Then your goal should be written down, yes. You should use positive terms such as to do. So instead of saying, what can I use as a negative example now? Such things that people try to do New Year resolutions on. Such things as, okay, let's sleeping too much. Wait, you said?
Exercise.
Okay, exercise.
Yes.
Okay, let's use exercise. Instead of saying, okay, that will work more in a positive sense. I want to use an example that will work in a negative sense, such as, okay, let's say drinking and getting drunk. Instead of saying, I will not, or I do not want to drink and get drunk. You have still mentioned drinking and getting drunk, and that's more like the focus. So don't even mention it at all. Okay. So it should rather be to do. What do you want to use as a substitute for not drinking and getting drunk, right? So instead now you say, I will drink non-alcoholic drinks. That makes sense, non-alcoholic, positive. But if you say, I don't want to drink alcohol next year, alcohol is still there and anytime you look at it. So how the mind works, how psychology works is whatever is the focus, whatever you put there, whatever is the focus is what your mind tends to be doing and then end up becoming your actions. So instead of saying, I will not do this thing, substitute with something that you will do. Okay. Yeah. So goals should be accompanied with a practical action plan. That is a step-by-step approach. Now, I'll use only, let me use an academic goal here, and I'll use my own personal example here. Now, academics, this is the area. This I should outline it, the area, academics, the goal to become a professor in the next 10 years. Action plan. What do you want to do to become a professor in the next 10 years? Pursue a master's degree this year, apply for a lecturing job at the university, engage in active research, author books that relate to my field. Does this make sense? My personal experience now. I graduated from the university in 2019, and I went to the law school 2020 and finished 2021. Now, this has been my goal, that before I am 40 years old, I should become a professor, right? and also a senior advocate of Nigeria, which is attainable. Presently, I'm 28 and I am doing my master's degree. And in the next 2 years, I'll be through with this master's degree and apply for a lecturing job. Okay, so you can see that I'm on the path. I am making, I'm working towards that plan. Okay, so you should not just say, I want to become this, and then you're not doing anything. You have to work for it. Okay, so this is where I'll be taking a pause to hand over to our guest, the Scribe, and he'll use this opportunity to introduce himself properly, since he did not do that before. So this is the last part before I hand over to him. How to execute your goals. So having set all of these goals, okay, like I said, you cannot sit back and just look at your goals to actualize themselves. This is what you need to do. You have to plan, strategize. And for me, who is a Christian, I carry God in my plans. And as I mentioned before, my plans must align with my purpose, my vision, my mission, and my values. Okay. So Proverbs 16 verse 1 says, you may make all your plans, but God has the final say. And I want to tell you, if you think God does not matter, I will tell you what will have the final say in your goals: circumstances. But if God matters to you, then God will be able to have the final say. And because God wants you to prosper, God wants you to succeed, he will make your goals prosper. Amen. I'm not preaching here. I'm not preaching here. But I'm only trying to emphasize on this point that in as much as you want to, and I'm not contradicting myself. I said earlier on that prayer points are not goals. I still maintain that position, but I'm saying that your goals, prayer, God, all matter. All of them matter. You can't leave anyone out, right? Then your values. You must have determination. You must be hardworking. You must be disciplined. You must be focused. You must manage your time well, and so on. So your values will help you achieve your goals, right? The example I gave about academics. If I'm not being excellent in my academics, how do I want to become a professor tomorrow? I don't know if they buy the title. I don't know if that is possible, but maybe they buy the title. But what I'm saying is your values, you have to carry them along in your goals. Their resources. You need resources to achieve your goals. Talking about academics, it's even if you want to go to school and you have a scholarship, you still spend money because there's no scholarship that will take care of your feeding. There's no scholarship that will take care of, let's say, your personal clothing. No. So you have to also like know that you have the resources to achieve those goals. You need people as well. People are resources, right? Then evaluation. You must always revise your goals. Don't set a goal and even if you're working towards it, you don't sit back to evaluate. So this is what I do as a person. Every 3 months, I do a personal retreat and I evaluate my goals in all these areas I outlined: spiritual, academic, social, relationship, finance, and so on. When I say, what have I done the past 4 months or 3 months in line with this goal? If I'm failing, I tell myself I'll do better. If I'm doing well, I say, okay, good, keep it up. So that evaluation is important. And last, motivation. You need motivation to achieve your goal, right? And you are the best person to motivate yourself. If you are looking outside, you may not find motivation, but if you are looking inward, like have a strong why that will motivate you. Then you need to write them down. I mentioned earlier that you should write down your goals. This is an example of a vision board. If you create a vision board, put it where it is very visible to you that you can look at any time. This will also be a motivation and a reminder for you. Okay, so I'll be taking a pause here to hand over to my friend who will introduce himself again. Thank you. I'll pause my sharing and then note that I noted all your questions. After his presentation, I'll read out the questions and then we'll respond to them together. But if you also have questions here, you can simply type them in the chat box. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It was an incredible session with Jude, and I've learned a lot. In fact, he has made the work so easy for me. He has done the science, and then moving forward, I believe it's going to be more exciting. Because he has done most of the work, not be taking long, just be taking probably 30 minutes, and I'll be sharing 3 ideas for you. If you are like me, you've probably had goals that you've not achieved, and you've probably failed in them. But what I'll be sharing for you can be the best idea that can help you, the best idea you've learned on goal setting. And I so much believe it's going to work out for you. I know Jude, he's a goal getter. And one of the reasons why I'm here, we've done this is a 3rd year that we're having the winning goal meeting. It's going to be exciting. So just let you know about myself. My name is Manasseh Mshelia, and I go by the synonym, the Scribe. The Scribe is the name I use for my speaking engagements. I would like to keep the identity, business identity from the speaking engagements. I'm an entrepreneur and a thought leader. I study law, but I pursue investment and finance. I love reading. I'm a polymath. That means I know a lot about, I know so many things about a lot of things. And my company, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Manasseh Capital Investment Limited. What we do is a private equity company and a consultancy company in finance and investment. And I've been privileged to lead so many non-profits, faith-based non-profits in the country and how to do some projects. And if you are familiar with what I do, especially when it comes to consulting and then wealth creation, it involves a lot of setting goals and achieving them. And I don't want to share some of the key ideas that can help you. Like I said, Jude has handled the science. So the science is a methodology and it's going to be very useful. I'll just add the art of goal settings, and in 20 minutes time we'll be done and then we'll answer your questions. I believe I'll be having a great time today. I have these ideas. I do hope that you have your writing materials. Jude was able to project using a slide, but I will not be able to do that. So I hope that you will have your writing materials to get the ideas, see it as ideas that will help you. Don't see it as a lecture, see it as ideas. So keep your open to pick up the vital ideas. And like I said, there will not be many. They'll be very brief. Please get your writing materials if you do not have it, and we'll go. We'll proceed. And like I began, I said, is my voice clear? Jude, are you there?
Yes, your voice is clear.
All right. Like I've mentioned, if you are like me, you've most likely set goals that you've not achieved. And most of the times we blame lack of discipline. But on reflection for this meeting, I have come to the conclusion that the main reason why we do not achieve our goals is not because we lack discipline. I know that this is a relief for many people. And most of the times when we try goals and it does not work, we give it up. Or we don't even pay attention about goal settings. We say, this is not for me. But I believe that all of us can set winning goals that are achievable. And like I said, I'll just be sharing 3 ideas that will truly change how you achieve your goals, how you set your goals. They're just 3. And then before I start, let me just lay a foundation. Why are the reasons why sometimes we do not achieve the goals we want to? And the first is because most of our decisions are emotional. they are not logical. The logical mind will be able to set goals after using all the methodology, specific, measurable, and the rest. The logical mind is supposed to follow, but we're not logical beings. And the result of that is that even when we want to, we know that it's good for us. Our emotions, that for good or for bad, they hold us back from doing it. When you need to do something, you want to rest, you want to do another thing, or you don't just feel like doing it. And so emotion can be a very a limiting factor when it comes to execution of goals. But the idea I'll be sharing is not for you to ignore emotions. I'm not going to tell you to be logical because it's ingrained in us. Takes a lot of things, but I'm going to share ideas. I'm going to share ideas that will almost effortlessly help you achieve your goals in such a way that your emotions even support you. Are we together? I wanted to say hallelujah. Out of habit. Yeah. So like I said, decisions are emotional. And then what I'll be teaching you is strategies, how you can achieve your goal despite the unwillingness of your emotions to cooperate or to follow through. You know, just like the legend Mike Tyson said, that everybody has a plan until he gets punched in the face. You know, that's just true. We set plans, and then when we go out in the world, we face reality. But one common lesson you must learn from life is that most of the times your plane will not survive first contact with reality. So I'll be teaching you strategies that, see, the fact that when you go out there, your goals most of the times will not survive it to shatter. You say, okay, you're going to a boxing match, you say you want to do this, you want to do this. When you get punched, all of a sudden everything scatters. But I believe that there's a way around it, that even when you meet reality, you'll be able to maintain that consistency and you'll be able to achieve your goals. The three ideas I'll be sharing to you is, first of all, I would like to say that it applies, this is a generic principle in goals. And because I'm making it generic as the core principle that guides what a goal is, I would like to separate it from a task. A task is important. A task is, I'll talk to 5 people tomorrow about buying my shoes. But a goal is more like saying I'm going to make $10,000 from sales from my shoe business. The goal is more generic, it's more big picture, it's not a tax. Each of it has its own place. But setting goals alone is not enough. You have to manage and deconstruct it into tasks. But I'll not be focusing on there. Okay, just like saying a task is I'm going to exercise tomorrow, but the goal is saying I want to lose, let's say, 50 pounds in 3 months. It's more like a goal. So the 3 ideas I would like to share with you on goal setting that will help you. That's why I've been where you have been, and every day we keep growing. We set goals that we do not achieve, but we learn in the process, and some of them we do achieve them, and we see patterns. The 3 ideas I'll be sharing for you is I'll be explaining the 3 types of goals. Now, I believe that every type of goal, as long as the goal, that's why I was separating it from a task. This principle might not apply to individual tasks, because task is just about an assignment. Just, hey, okay, I will do this. This is just the one event. When it comes to goals, is more like a collective plan about what you want for the future. So you say, I want to make $20,000 in 6 months or in 2023. That is a goal. But when it comes to that, so I'm talking about goal in that context. There are 3 types of goals, and these 3 types of goals will help you. Listen, this is a strategy for implementing goals despite the challenges that comes from your emotions. And then when you understand the 3 types of goals, you understand that discipline is not your main problem when it comes to lack of discipline. Is not your main problem when it comes to achieving goals. So while explaining the 3 types of goals, if you have your writing materials, you can write them down. What is also important is these 3 types are not exclusive, are not mutually exclusive to each other. Most of the times, any goal you pick in that big picture will fall among these 3 types of goals. Most of the times, there are the types of goal in phases. And the first is learning goals. The second is growth goals. And then the third is action goals. The first type of goals are learning goals. Now, I'm very firm when I'm saying this. I'm not exaggerating. That every type of goal falls between these three categories. If time permits, I'll explain it. Just want to run through these three ideas in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Just would like you to follow me. The three types of goals are not just every goal can be categorized under whether it's health goals, wealth goals, whatever it is. And if you can, I want you to be able to deconstruct your goals. Like I said, it's not that we lack the science, the methodology. Most of the times, it is, in fact, before you can even implement or see goals from this perspective, I advise that you set goals like this. But then it is good that you categorize it. The first is learning goals, the second is growth goals, and then the last is action goals. The reason why it's important that you categorize it is because each type of goals has its own major challenge. I'll point out what the main challenges are so that, like I said, lack of discipline is only a problem for action goals. But then most goals are not action goals, or even action goals are first learning goals before they are growth goals, then action goals. Are we together? You can categorize any goal, but before you even start this, you have to follow the method. Make your goal the same way the methodology that Jude provided. Make a detailed goals, list all of them, as many as you can, and then you can categorize them. I'll be explaining these concepts to you, and these are the three main ideas I'll be explaining to you. The first are learning goals. Most of the goals we set, it is either a learning goal or the process begins with learning. For instance, like, okay, let me even be as practical as possible. You have a goal to lose, let's say, a certain amount of weight. Most of the times, something as crucial as, please, I'll attend to the questions after, but I'm seeing some questions. Learning goals, as practical as losing weight is, it is first a learning goal. Why is it so? Many people attempt, you see, when you jump into action directly, you are likely going to fail. But because you have not truly followed the process, you've not deconstructed what it is all about. But one of the main ideas that everything is captured on that is to reframe your goal. What is the process? See, I have friends that want to lose weight, they are overweight. But the problem is they jump into it. They set action plans. But anyone that truly knows what losing weight will get you, at least in the practical notes, first of all, you must be aware of the calories in what you take. As little as this is, but these are the little ideas that makes the biggest difference. If you go out and start exercising every day, or you are trying to choose what to eat or not to eat, the truth is, as a layman, you do not even know, even the things that you think are simple, you probably have more carbs than the things that you think are more healthy. But to an extent, you must begin your goal journey with learning. You must deconstruct and say, okay, what do I need to get this result? Now, like I said, you can either categorize it in these three categories, or most goals follow through these three processes. Now, why am I emphasizing on learning goals? Say is not important, but just hold on. So, if every goal begins with learning, it is important because that's the idea I'm trying to push. Because when you understand that every goal begins with learning, you understand that the first enemy to your goal, achieving your goals, is not discipline, it's ego. Because it is a natural principle that when you begin anything new, you probably look silly, you feel stupid, and then you probably fail. But when you understand that the achievement of every goal is a learning process, it begins with the learning process, you remove yourself from the picture and say, okay, if I'm learning, then I'm permitted to fail. Because most of the times when we begin goals, we notice our shortcomings, whether it is to learn a skill. And what will stop you from scaling these first processes of achieving your goal might not be because we lack discipline. You might think it is lack of discipline, but it's merely an ego problem, because by the time you begin to fail or you don't do it at an efficient level, you give up the goal. But you see, but when you understand that at this stage, what is working against you is ego. Ego, you don't want to look silly. You don't like the feeling of failing. But you understand. So for instance, now, I've tried this year after year. Okay, I'll go for jogging regularly. But the first day, after a long while of doing exercise, I feel this is not something I want to do. But when you understand that every goal, the first learning process, at least if you are setting as a goal, is something that you want to achieve, you do not hold possession of it yet. And until you do not hold possession of it yet, you have to start learning. It's just like I want to learn how to play the keyboard. And maybe the first few weeks when I try playing the keyboard, it is not making sense. Okay, and how is it I don't know how to? So you see, for most people, it might not even be lack of discipline, but they don't like feeling the idea of being a fool. But you must truly achieve your goal. You must be comfortable with the idea of failing at the early stage, or even being silly, probably failing in your attempt. When you understand that this first stage is about your ego, you will learn to push on even when you fail. Because this is one of the core reasons people give up their goals when they face a roadblock at the early stages. They give it up and say, okay, maybe this is not something I want to do. As practical as it is, like the exercise, go out tomorrow for exercise. You discover that you can't run as fast as you think you could, and then when you come back, if you have the mindset that this early stage is about learning the process of achieving the goal, it's okay. It's all right. I failed tomorrow. I couldn't go far. I can go over the process again until I become comfortable with it. Are we together? And then there's this model scientists. There's this model of learning that scientists came up with, that there are 4 stages of learning. The first is unconscious incompetence. The 4 stages is, the first is, I'm still talking about learning goals, because most of the idea, even if you want to make wealth, it starts with learning. It doesn't start with action. No, it doesn't start with action. When you focus on the action, you probably fail, first of all, because you do not know how to do it. And then when you don't understand that you are learning, and you probably feel like because you're not getting the result, you should give up on the goal. When you understand that the first stages of achieving every goal is actually a learning process, you embrace failing, you embrace looking foolish, looking silly, even if you do not know, and you push on. But so at this stage, you might even have the willingness to do it. But what is your discomfort of feeling that, okay, I don't like how it feels not to know? Okay, just back to the 4 stages of learning. The first is unconscious incompetence. The first stage of learning that everybody goes through is that you're unaware of what you do not know. That's what it means to be unconsciously incompetent. You are not aware of what you do not know. And then that is why when you approach every goal, you must come with the humility that there are a lot of things that you might not be aware of it. So you do a little research of, okay, what is it that I need to make this goal happen? So that you skip the first stage. Because many people want to make money, but they don't understand that there are a lot of things that they do not know. So before you even start the process, before you jump into action, you should do a little learning. And then the learning process, of course, after you become aware of what you do not know, okay, maybe you start learning how many carbs are in a certain fruit, in a certain food. Or in fact, one of the suggestions for exercise is that you have to constantly have a meter that you check your weight daily, so that you know your progress, so that you record it, you know your progress. But when you start your weight losing regime and you do not have a meter that you check your weight on a regular basis, you don't know when you are lapsing. You check yourself in focus. That's why it must be measurable. As little as these practical things, they work. First stage is unconscious incompetence, but after then is conscious incompetence. This is when you become aware of what you do not know. And most of the times at this stage, this is where most of the hardest things are. When you are in this stage, you are aware of what you do not know. So you'll be easy on yourself and tell yourself, okay, it's because I do not know. It's the natural process of learning. That first of all, I'm not aware of what I do not know, but then I have become aware of what I do not know. And I'll start learning. And the next stage of learning is conscious competence. This is when you you can do what you're not aware of, you can do what you did not know before, but it takes conscious application. Just like driving, the first period that you are driving, you have to be very careful about doing things, very intentional, to turn the steering, press the brake. This is the level of conscious competence. And then when you understand that at this stage, it's going to be, you'll be able to do the skill, you'll be able to execute the goal, whether it's sales, you want to sell this thing, but you understand that it's in stages, it's not going to happen all at once. When you come to conscious competence, the last stage is unconscious competence. This is when you are competent without paying careful attention. Most people that have driven for a while, they discover that they can drive from one point to another without even remembering the journey. They have reached a stage of unconscious competence. Now, when you reach the level of unconscious competence, doing something repeatedly becomes natural. You do not have to, it's not going to take the early process where it is hard. But when you think that every goal has to come to a place where it is effortless, you will miss the entire process. You will burn out, because that's not how the process of learning is. Because of time, I would just like to rush on. The second is growth goals. Now, while most goals, whether it's about making money, can be a learning goal, it's just, okay, if I want this for myself, the main thing that you need to achieve those goals might just probably be about learning something. But and I said the major challenge at this stage or for these types of goals is your ego. So you must be willing to fail over and over again and still redo it until you gain that conscious competence or that unconscious competence, that you must give room that when you start, you're not going to be good at it. And then when you are embarrassed that you do not know, you feel comfortable to press on. And then the second that we type of goal that we have is growth goals. Growth goals are goals that will require an internal change of who you are. And when you see goals in these ways, it's easier, because most goals, we just think about the action. But most of the things we need in life, we can get them when we learn or when we become a certain type of person. The goal might be to be more disciplined, to be a reader. See, when I just okay, you see, when you are when you set a goal that you want to read 30 books in a year, you probably fail if you've not been a reader before now. But then the goal, how you set the goal as a growth goal, is that you tell yourself that I want to be a reader. It's something that you want to become. It's not just an action that you're taking. So you say, okay, what does it mean for me to be a reader? It's a different question that you start working on. See, in order for you to achieve that that goal that you've set, okay, I want to be a reader. Okay, I want to read 30 books. One of the major things that you need to do is to set growth goals, how to become a reader. If it's health goals, how to become a healthy person. It's more about changing personality. I want to become a PhD student. Okay, so what does a PhD student do? This is what they're supposed to do. And when it comes to growth goals, the major enemy is comfort. Most of the times, growth goals that will require internal change. See, most goals are, most of the times, not always. There are problems you want to overcome or stages you want to pass. And one perspective of problems you must have is that the problems you have, others do not have. Your problems are very different from one another. What do you think is a problem for you is not a problem from another person. What is the difference? They have grown into a personality that the problem you set as a challenge for you is not a problem for them. So you tell yourself, so anytime you face a problem, say the reason why this is a problem for me is because I am small. Not in an insultive way, but you can be honest with yourself and say, okay, maybe the reason why I have not achieved this goal, or I am having this type of problem that I'm setting as a goal to overcome, is because I have not outgrown it. And this is a growth goal. So if you notice that most of our goals is, okay, I don't read. Maybe it's a problem. It's because you've not become a reader. And when you want to set the major challenges for growth goals is comfort. I mean by comfort, being in your comfort zone. So you must be willing to stretch yourself, because the only way growth happens is when in the pursuit of excellence, we feel we go towards the edge of ourselves, outside our comfort zones. And then when you have growth goals, you must be ready. See, that's why it's good to categorize and be aware that if I must get these growth goals, I am ready to go out of my comfort zone. Okay, I want to make 5 million naira next year. Fine. Are you going to grow to the type of person that can get that type of result? What does it take? It might just be that you become a more skillful salesman. But then, if you want to become a more skillful salesman, to meet 5,000 people to sell a product will get you 5 million. Let's say one of the challenges you have is that you're shy. You see, in an attempt to make money, what the real goal is about outgrowing who you are now to be able to do that thing. You have to outgrow your shyness. You have to be ready. And as long as you love your comfort, you see, that's what I'm saying. It's not discipline. It's not the problem of discipline. As long as you love your problem, as long as you love your comfort, most of the times you will not grow into the person that you need to be to achieve your goals. And then lastly, action goals. Now, it's very important that you understand that, like I said, this is in phases. When you understand that every goal is a learning goal, and then you understand that it's a growth goals, the truth is it becomes easy to take actions, to execute the actions when you first of all learn and become a person that's able to execute it. Actions will not become, it does not become a challenge because it becomes natural for you to do it. But unless you've learned and grown into the person that can execute it effortlessly, taking the action will always be hard. But when you've learned the process and you've grown into a person that can execute the goal is competently, unconscious competence, is something that you do naturally. I read on average 30 books a year. That's if I don't. I read. I'm a reader. People set it as goals because they set goals for 10 books. Why me? It naturally comes to me that I can read 30 books. It's because I have become a reader. It's something that has become part of me. So taking the action is so easy, it's so effortless, so natural. And if you really want to achieve your goals, you must remove all the frictions. Most of the frictions you have comes from your lack of knowledge or you've not grown into the person. But if you jump into the action goals, you will most likely fail because you've not yet gained the capacity to execute your goals. So if you see your problems that most action goals are in stages. First of all, you will not give up before time when you're not getting the results of the executing the action appropriately. You understand that it's a phase. That when you have crossed the learning phase and you've crossed the growth phase, executing the action stage becomes easy. Deconstruct your goal, learn it, grow into the person that can execute it, and then to be easy to implement your goals. Now, if you've truly learned and you've really become a person, you've grown into the person that can execute the action, that is where, if you refuse to do it, the main challenge here will be lack of discipline. Because there are many things that comes easy for people, but then they refuse to do it. At this stage, it is lack of discipline. But at the learning stage, it's not lack of discipline because we are natural people that taking the action will not come easy unless you've been equipped, unless you've become. So at that early stage of learning, chances are you will fail. Most of the times when people start failing, try exercise and they see that they're not doing very well, sometimes they quit the entire goal because they are focusing more on the action. You do not understand that there has to be a learning phase. And the learning phase, you permit yourself to fail, to be silly, to not do it well. But you understand that you are learning. It's not something that comes naturally to you. But then with time, as you understand that it's a learning phase, you will grow. And then you focus on the growth goals where you must be willing to go out of your comfort zone, stretch out of what you've known, do things that might not even be comfortable for you. But over time, you'll be able to execute the action effortlessly. And when execution comes effortlessly and you refuse to do it, then is the major enemy here is lack of discipline. Now, like I said, will not be taking long. I'll be closing with this. I have a non-profit, an organization called School of Entrepreneurs, and we teach wealth creation and productivity. Now, most of the times, when you're able to achieve goals, you become more productive. And so apply yourself to becoming a more productive person. It will be easier to execute goals. Being productive is that you have the ability to get more done. Generally, commit yourself to being a very productive person, and achieving goals will be easy. I'll close with a quote by the magician, Doc Henning. He said, "The hard must become habit, the habit must become easy, and the easy must become beautiful." Let me take it again. The magician Doc Henning said, "The hard must become habit, the habit must become easy, and the easy must become beautiful." When you understand goal settings with the three ideas I've shared, what is hard will become easy, and what is easy will become beautiful. It becomes beautiful when you can achieve goals you set effortlessly. There are people that consistently make millions a year. And then someone is planning for 1 million. It's because they've made the hard easy for them. They've made the hard easy for themselves. That's why their life is beautiful. Again, the hard must become habit. And that's what the process is about. Taking the hard to be a natural thing for you. Taking the actions will no longer be hard because you understand the process of every goal. There has to be a learning process, there has to be a good process, and there has to be an action. And then there is the action stage. Or most goals sometimes can be directly action. So when your goals are action goals, most of the problem might be lack of discipline. But then when you understand that truly that you are in this, that to you, for some people you may have the same goal, but for some is an action goal, for you is a growth goal. You understand where you are and you stretch forward and you understand what is your enemy in this stage. Making money for some is all about taking action, just having the discipline to sit and trade. But for some, the making money through trading is actually a good goal for them because they have to be able to grow. So you must tell yourself, okay, I want to go out of my comfort zone to learn, to grow, to become this type of person, become an effective trader. But then for some people, it's even the learning stage that at this stage, you have the same goal with another person that his own is an action goal because that's become natural to him. But for you, it's a learning goal. Let the hard become a habit for you. And let the habit become easy. And let the easy become beautiful. Thank you very much. Jude, over to you. I'll be going to take questions.
Wow. Thank you so much, the Scribe, Manasseh Mshelia. I really appreciate this. You've always showed up. This is the third year and every time it becomes better. Yes. And I really appreciate that you made it more practical. I guess my theory that was hard, you made it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just hope that those of you who are still on the call, I think that Manasseh has put more light to this now compared to what I was explaining earlier. And what I've learned most importantly is the process. You have to become before you can actually achieve this. And then remember the stage you are in your goal setting and actualization. Are you still in the learning process? Are you still in the growth process or in the action process? That has really taught me so much. Thank you once again. So for anyone on the call, if you wish to ask your question verbally, you can easily unmute and ask your question. Otherwise, I will go ahead to read the questions that are here and we both can respond to them as you are able to. So I think there are only about 8 questions and some of them, so those questions are from those that registered. I doubt if they are all here now on the call, but it's not still wrong responding to them. So I'm giving the next 1 minute for those who are on the call. If you wish to ask your question verbally, indicate and then you can go ahead. Otherwise, I'll go ahead to read these ones here.
By the way, thank you to everyone who turned up. This from this part of the country, just when the meeting started, a lot of people were asking for link, and then you said no, and I truly support that. This meeting is already free. I'll be having a boot camp next week, and it's paid, and Jude has made this possible. Then all you had to do was just register, and I hope that you've gotten value for your time. With these little ideas, I so much believe that you make a lot of difference. You learn to understand. Most of the times, I tell you that most of the time, most of the things that stops us at the early stages of our goals is when it is hard to do it easily. Or maybe you are failing, it doesn't come easy for you. You might think it's lack of this, but it's not. It's just that stage. And then you are someone that is not so humble and your ego is so big. You want to leave anything that is not working smoothly, but then it's just that stage. What you just need is a learning stage. So you have to pardon yourself. Okay, everyone does not know something, and it's okay not to know. And then you would do it despite the fact that at this stage you are still learning. And then actions become very easy when you learn that okay, there's someone that you need to become, and you go out of your comfort zone to become that. It becomes easy. Some weeks back, we had class on vision setting for 2022. It's on Facebook and it's live in our group anyway. And then I talked about making the year a purposeful year, an excellent year. I gave some as little tips, as little as these tips are, has the capacity to change people's perspective and life in a very profound way. I talked about how to have the perfect day. These are little ideas. See, this is what great minds do. They share ideas. What better thing will you have to do? What better conversation will you have than share ideas? You must have curiosity. You must always have that curiosity to discover the discoveries of other men. It becomes easy for you. So be curious to discover what is that this person has discovered. That's why no matter what you know, there's something that someone has discovered that will make things very easy for you. See, what I've told you now might not even be available anywhere. Something that I've noticed from experience, when I read very wide, but then I've noticed from my own experiences, it gives you a clue. So next time you're targeting something that looks like a hurdle or something that is very hard, you can tell yourself, well, I don't have to give up. I'm not failing. It's just part of the process that at these early stages, I might not succeed. Failure is part of the process at these early stages. Most of the times, most of us that have started exercise and we stop. Maybe it's because we felt, this is hard. Or maybe I didn't even go far. But you understand that this is a learning process, this early stage, just give it up consistently. You are not so proud to tell yourself that maybe it's because you're learning this thing and you probably give up the goal. So this is what ideas is about, sharing ideas that can make you more productive, you can achieve more. All right. Does anyone have a question here?
Okay, thank you so much for emphasizing that again. And yeah, at the end of the meeting, during my closing remarks, I will say the reason why I said no to sharing the link while the meeting had already started. Yeah. Okay, so
actually.
Yep. So the questions here, the first one is, how will you support your children in setting goals from a tender age?
Okay.
Can you respond to that? How will you support your children in setting goals from a tender age?
Yeah, I'm trying to find, okay, that's it. Please, you wrote it. I'm trying to, okay, moment, tender age, it begins with small tasks.
Okay.
You can tell them, for a child, you might not have the same goals as the same goals with an adult. It can just be about keeping his room neat, setting those consistent goals. And for a child, you have to make it in order to make a child, you might not have the reasoning of how important it is. I advise that you do this goal setting with your child. and then you put motivations. You attach motivations to the goals. The motivation might be candy, might just be a little reward. So I want to build that consistency, and then the more your child achieves small goals that you've set together with him, it is an exciting journey that, but he's building on his confidence that even long time he will be able to set goals that he can achieve. So at those early stages, first of all, our advice that you set goals together with them, then be mindful of what they want, and then not necessarily your same goals, your goals might not be the same with them. But then not only that, you help them set it. You don't just set it, because children, you have to teach them everything. Those early ages, as early, you can start as early as you want to, but then you can help them set goals on how to keep their room neat. You can just start by, okay, why don't you set a goal that when you come in, you not drop your clothes on the ground? And then if you can maintain this consistently for a week, you can fix a little reward. Okay, I'll let you play this game. I'll get to this or I get to this. By the time he's able to do it, over time, when there is this reward, it becomes natural for him to become. If the goal is for him to have a clean room, as little as this little tax is, it becomes part of him for life. But sometimes you can set goals about saving money at the early age. It's okay. Why don't you save so percentage? If you can do that, I'll add a little bit for you, and it becomes habits. But I would recommend, first of all, I would recommend that set the goals together with your child, and then attach rewards to them.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I believe that was helpful. Then second question is, aside being consistent, what are other things I can add up to achieve my goals? Okay, I will respond to that. Going back to my presentation earlier on, mention the things you need to achieve your goal. Yes, consistency is a very important one of them. I mentioned resources. I mentioned your values like discipline, hard work. I mentioned motivation. I mentioned the purpose, asking yourself why. So these are the things you need to achieve your goals. Not stressing further. I believe that was helpful. The next question is where there are no resources, how will I accomplish my goals? Okay, I will give a quick response and then I will leave it to Manasseh to elaborate more. So I think if you don't have resources to achieve a particular goal, you should set a goal on how to get those resources first before you go back to achieving the goal, because everything is a goal. Set the goal to achieve, to get the resources. When you get it, you go back. Like I mentioned earlier on, don't depend on other people's resources to achieve a goal. That should not be your primary dependence or the basis for setting your goals. Okay, so if you have more to say about that, Manas.
Okay. First of all, I think you learn to be resourceful. What resourcefulness is first of all, productivity is being high value in an area. But what resourcefulness means is using what you have to get the results you want. And I believe that no matter whether it is time, if you don't have the resources, what resources are you looking for? Is it money? Can you trade time to get money? This is what being resourcefulness is. Learning to trade value from one form to another form. If the resources you're talking about is time, okay, what do you have that you need more time? Okay, do you have money to buy other people's time to free up your own time? So I advise that if lack of the resources is the challenge, find ways to trade what you have with what you don't have, and that's just being resourceful. I think this is just where I'll stop.
Well, thank you so much. And that brings to my consciousness the fact that resources are diverse and it depends on which resource you're referring to here. Okay. So some resources can be within your reach and some not be within your reach. The next question is similar to this. Can one still achieve goals without the resources needed? I think that has been well answered. So it depends on the resources. But if your goals depend solely on these particular resources, I doubt if you can achieve that goal without them. Yeah. So for example, we're talking about exercise here, which has been a common example we're using. So let me just continue that. What kind of exercise do you want to do? And what are the resources we're talking about? Yeah, time is a resource. Do you have the time for the exercise? You should create time for it. Do you have the tools? If it is about going to the gym, do you have the money to pay to register for a gym? Or do you have the tools at home? So these are the questions. Without those important resources, this particular goal of losing weight through exercise cannot work. Okay. How do I set a goal and achieve it without hesitation? Manasseh, are you there? You can respond to that.
Okay, please go again.
How do I set a goal and achieve it without hesitation?
Yes, let it become. That's why, in fact, I talked about growth, becoming unconsciously competent, where it comes naturally. You need that second nature. You know, when you've grown into a person that can execute the goal, it becomes effortless without hesitation. So when I talk, when your goal is to maybe become proficient in playing the keyboard, when you've grown yourself into it to that level of unconscious competence, it becomes natural. But that's the entire idea of what we are saying, that you always hesitate and it will always be hard when you focus on the action. When you focus on the growth into becoming a person that can execute the action effortlessly, it becomes easy.
Okay, thank you very much. So the last two questions here are very simple and straightforward. Okay, there are three more questions, but the two before the last one. Can anything be a goal? And the second, how do I set up a goal? So in my presentation, I've already explained on these two questions. It's not anything that can be a goal in one sense, but in another sense, anything can still be a goal. And let me just explain. Like I said, prayer points are not goals. Wishes are not goals. And other examples that I gave earlier. But if you want to achieve something and it qualifies as SMART, that is being realistic, time-bound, actionable, realizable, then it qualifies as a goal. If you are able to bring it under those characteristics, then anything can be a goal. Otherwise, it's not a goal. And lastly, Ligari says, I need more insight on the growth goals. Any literature recommendation? So, Manasseh, you can recommend a literature.
Okay, growth goals. Let's see. Procrastinate on purpose. On purpose. What this means is that intentionally procrastinate. Is it something anyway, just check it. Procrastinate on purpose is a very popular book. Anyway, it's a book about time management, but then it's also about becoming more efficient in handling your plans or more your goals. So I believe that mindset change, particularly, but it talks about self-management. The solution to time management is there's no such thing as time management. There's only self-management. How to manage yourself, and then it gives you guys on how to give I think be more efficient. So that's one of the goals. And then I believe that if you focus on depending on what the growth goal is, I will recommend that you find a book that will give you a little bit of how to become in that area of expertise. Yes. Okay. Someone here, Rory Biden. Yes. Procrastinate on Purpose by Rory Biden. So that one will teach you self-management to help you to become so that you can execute your plans more efficiently. But the general is depending on the goal. For instance, now if it's wealth creation, you can learn or follow people online that are into that teaches how to become a wealth creator. See, by becoming the identity, it becomes easy. So just convert your goals to growth. I don't have books that, because these ideas particularly, I can't tell you I didn't pick it from anywhere. Yeah, it was just observation and then experience. So yeah, not diverse, but then depending on the goal, find books that will help you become more efficient in those skills or in those goals. That's what I would recommend. But then if you need a book that will help you manage yourself properly, so that you can grow into the person that can execute your goals, procrastinate your purpose is a book I would recommend. So divide them.
Okay, thank you. And there's also another book. I will type it in here. Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. That is also helpful. It's a very good book on personal development. It helps with procrastination.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
I would also recommend people to listen to. I think Brian Tracy is also a good writer. He has great ideas that can help you. So Jim Rohn too, the personal development expert. He has great ideas that can help you become the person that can get it done.
yep. Okay, thank you so much. Believe there are no more questions. I sincerely appreciate everyone on this call, starting with our guest, the Scribe, Manasseh Mshelia. Thank you so much again, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
I can't quantify my thanks, but I'm sincerely grateful. And I hope you always show up as you've always done for me.
No.
And to everyone that attended, those on the call right now, those that are no longer on the call, I sincerely appreciate your presence here. And my only hope is that your expectation for attending this webinar was met, so that you can also apply this in your own personal life, and also be a resource person to others who may need your guidance concerning goal setting. So we'll be ending the call at this point, and I'm grateful that we have been able to manage our time well. I scheduled the meeting for 2 hours, but look at us, this is 1 hour, 40 minutes. And we even started like almost 10 minutes into it. So thank you so much. And my reason for not allowing people to join when the meeting had already started is the link was there at least 7 days ago. And for me personally, sometimes I emphasize on I insist on my values. That is discipline and being proactive. So if you really, really wanted to be here, it was very easy to register. It's in less than 60 seconds, you could respond to the registration questions. Just type your name, email, location, and that's all. So if you did not register, and I did not want the link to be public, that is why I ask people to register, so that you get it directly to your email. And then, of course, 47 persons registered, and I send a link to every person that registered. Only 8 persons opened their emails. So sometimes it could be the personal limitation on some persons not to check their emails regularly. So yeah, you should also form the habit of checking your emails regularly. If you can set up a notification, that would help, because I sent it at least 24 hours to the time. I sent the notice that I would send the link 24 hours to the time. And then today I sent it like 3 hours to the time, so you can be able to join. I didn't want people who did not register to attend. That is why I did not send the link earlier on for you to share with others. And for me, it is for me to account for the persons that registered and really want to be here, keep record of everything. So it was just me insisting on my personal values. That is why I did not permit the link to be shared when the meeting started. You were not the only person that asked me whether I should share the link. but I said no. So I do hope that next year we'll have a higher number, and I think this will be the last free one. Yes, there is so much here. There's a lot here, and we should appreciate things like this. That is what I believe. We should appreciate things like this. And I'm grateful that I recorded it. So I may decide to share the recording for those that registered but could not attend. But it will not be public, like I said. So thank you again, Chinaza, my friend Henry, and yes, I know other persons that were here before that left. Raphael, Lillian, I think I saw one Mohammed, yeah, but up to 10 persons were here and they left before the end of the meeting. Okay, so thank you so much. We are ending the meeting here. Hope to see you next time. Stopping the recording. So bye for this year, and I wish you a prosperous 2023. And
Yeah. Thank
I
you, sir.
I hope that you achieve your goals for next year and even beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much.